Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Staffing Sharks Review It, the kickoff of 2023. I'm here with my sidekick, Courtney Harmon of Crelate. What's up, Courtney?
Good morning. How are you today?
I will say good afternoon. It's high noon here.
It is. It's 12:03. You're right. We have officially made that transition, and I'm ready to say good afternoon. Good afternoon.
It is. Before we deep dive into our conversation today, I just want everybody out there to learn a little bit about you. Give us the 2-minute tour of Courtney.
Okay. My name's Courtney Harmon. I've been in this industry for over a decade, have done everything from running a desk to director of learning and development for a network of offices in the staffing space, and trained thousands of frontline recruiters, sales managers, worked with hundreds of offices. And really, we're here, and I'm now at Crelate. My background's really led it to the idea of being here as a staffing and recruiting industry principal and host of our Full Desk Experience podcast. So we do one thing that's uniquely positioned with the insights in our experience in our industry here at Crelate. We give back in the form of content. So that's kind of what I do. Whether you're a current customer or not, we are here, and my passion's learning. We're here to help your firms grow. Let's face it, not everyone is positioned to buy an ATS every year. So we understand that. It's a big investment. So we wanted to be here to share our insights and knowledge. And we've launched a monthly live event series hosted by myself, and we share the good, bad, and the ugly. And we talk about two different kinds. I mean, obviously this is podcast, but we talk about our industry spotlight, where we talk with top leaders like you do. But we also offer a more unique, that live event series is where you can come in, you can talk to us. It's more like working on your business. Like, not many times do we have time to work on our business. We're working in our business, right? So it's really the time that you can come in, go in this workshop and really focus on your growth blockers across people, processes, technologies. And you have a chance to ask live Q&A with myself and have an audience of staffing and recruiting consultants with like-minded individuals, where you're going to hear most successful staffing firms are doing, getting right. And really my goal is for you to be able to walk away with actionable guidance to drive your success in your business.
There it is.
So
I gotta tell you, Courtney, that was 1,000 words there. You just burned about 1,000 calories. All right, so you're good for the day.
Hey, that's good. I like it.
But no, one thing I do like, and I have to say, praise about what you guys are doing, is you're all over the board, and I love that. People can see everything that you guys do about giving back, and as me, giving equals growth, and that's the first thing. If you're giving advice for an ATS, and I'm going to just throw this out there: when you buy an ATS, when you transition to another one, it gives you gray hair and panic. So this is where you come in there, where when you get something, that's right, that you want something that's going to last you for a long time, not one that's going to last for 2 years and you have to transfer your data over. So I love how you guys do that. You guys are rocking it out there. Shout out to Katie too for producing everything there if she's listening.
Amazing.
Good stuff. But let's just jump into what we got to talk about today, because I don't want to waste any time, because we have a lot to talk about. One thing that I want to touch base on is the people, people, process, technology is what our whole topic is today. But when you talk about people, we all say this, and I see it in the industry. Oh, we have to be more caring. We have to do this. But to be honest with you, Courtney, I see in my area, I don't see people still interacting with candidates and stuff like that like they should. What do you see on your end?
I see the same thing. And honestly, so many times, like right now, like with AI being the big talk, everyone wants this silver bullet solution to make their businesses faster, for them to go faster, quicker, bigger. But you're still missing that human element. That's really where you're establishing relationships, not only for the now, but you're positioning yourself what's for the future. You're strategically being able to, you have that foundational, you have the process. You can use the AI as the tool to enhance your job, but it should never replace the actual conversations, because that's where you build key accounts. That's where you build repeatable candidates that come back to you, that want to be there for redeployment. That is your bread and butter. And for people to say, I just want to go quicker. No one wants to talk to a chatbot. No one wants to go through that stuff.
You're right.
Talk to people.
It's the human connection. I see that all the time. The HC is like human resource, human connection, HC, the high C. Get your juice box out and let's have fun with it. And that's what it's all about. But I think one thing, Courtney, I got to throw out there, and people might say the tech stack, people jump onto that name and they say they just ride it. Tech. But you know what? Light industrial, nurses, anything I touch base with, they want the human connection. You know how it is. When we answer, we call Verizon or AT&T or any of them, and we get an answering service. We have to go through 30 different things. That's what you do with technology still too.
I agree. And I think there's one other piece to that. Oftentimes we get to the point that we want this thing, this tech, to solve our problems. But in reality, there's a few other broken processes. So like, let's go back to the foundational. If you don't know in staffing what you should be doing for your touch plan for new clients or business development or candidates or redeployment, pick your process. If you don't have that established foundationally, that AI is still going to be broken, because that one thing's not going to solve your problem. Your crap problem is still going to be a crap problem with an API, or not necessarily API, but with the technology. And it's going to take you 2 to 3 years to figure that out, because you've just invested this time and this money into this thing, where in reality, it's back to the processes within your organization. Do you have those established? Have you trained your people the correct way? Or do they even know how to have a conversation? Rich, I don't know about you. There's often times that people hear a no. I mean, this is our business. People hear a no and they're like, okay, you don't want me. But they don't know how to respond to that anymore. But are we even teaching them?
Not at all. And you know what? I'm going to say it out there. We just have to bullshit with people. I'm going to lay it like Courtney. We do. Seriously. I say I never interview anybody. Beer chat, coffee chat. You hear me say that all the time. That's where we have to get down to the real stuff. I think technology is a supplement, and I'm going to use it like protein shakes. It's great, but still not your core. Your core is your human connection, handshakes, fist pumps, and meeting people in person still. And we're never going to lose that.
No, it's not going away. And if it does, then that's where you get into the transactional. And again, that's only going to help your business so much. You're going to lose the reoccurring revenue that you should have had in the first place, because you've established that process and that connection and that relationship.
So while we're on with people, this is one thing. How about the job boards? I think in the last 10 years, everybody just clicks and pray, and I think we got that process down where job boards are another. They're like a surfboard. You could just ride the wave so long and then you got to get off it, And what do you see in your side of it, talking to customers and stuff like that? I mean, they're spending a lot of money for job boards. I won't mention any names. And are they getting the ROI?
A lot of people get to the point and they like you said, they post and pray. They like, well, I'm going to go put this job out here and all the people are going to come to me. Well, first off, whenever they're writing their job descriptions, they're taking it and they're not truly giving who are you going to become when you take this job. So first off, I see we don't write job descriptions very well, first off, to attract the right type of people.
Exactly right.
There's so many things wrong, but I could spend hours on that. Number two, it's like, well,
no time.
No time. Number two is like, are they coming into our system? Are they automatically on a workflow? Are you even keeping track of those people? Because honestly, we talk to so many people in a day. More people get lost in our system if we're not putting them into the right processes and the right workflows. Right. So it's hard to say, are you getting the ROI out of it? Because are you even tracking that? And that's where I think number one comes into, like, yes, you can do that. But I also think we've been in this routine business of candidates been beating down our doors for the last 2 years. We've not had enough talent to fill the jobs at hand. Well, that tide is shifting a smidge. And we really we've lost that, dare I say, muscle memory of going out and finding new business. So we don't necessarily know that we need to make the cold calls, or how do we go market a candidate to somebody to say, no, you need this type of person. But the conversation isn't about the person. It's saying, this is the type of value that I could operate and give to your organization to really make us actively listen to hear what they need. So there are so many of those processes that we haven't had to use, or muscles that we haven't had to use over the past 2 years, that I think we really have to strengthen up, in your words, like use those muscles, strengthen them up and get better at them.
Well, here's the tagline: think like a job seeker. I say that all the time. You have to think like you're looking for a job too. One of the biggest things I say about job descriptions, I see all that. It's like, do you have good character? No crap, you do. That's all fillers. Get to the point, have them text with whatever it is. Like we have basketball crew down there, text basketball, and the phone number. Boom, there it is. Now you're getting a conversation going on text and stuff like that. I think we think too much into it, Courtney, in our industry. And we think that we know what job seekers want, but till you ask them, and that's one thing I love to do, is just ask them every day. What do you want? Why did you come to my site? Why did you see me? Is it because I'm crazy and I wear flip-flops? I mean, tell me what makes you show up at my doorstep instead of somebody else's. And I don't think we ask enough of that. We assume that the job seekers need us, but they don't need us. And I always say that.
But you have to position yourself to to be needed. And if you don't do that and you don't make them think differently, or you don't pick up the phone to have a conversation, everybody thinks this job can be done via email these days. And yeah, probably a portion of it can be. But again, we go back to that human element. If you don't pick up the phone and understand their motivators of why they're looking to leave their job or what they're looking for in their next one, how do you expect them for them to think of you any different than they're just a number? They're just a recruiter I'm talking to. You have to
Exactly right. And that's why I always say, add them to your social media. Before they leave, they're a part of my Facebook, everything like that. I mean, we are a lifestyle industry. So you got to put them involved with your life. I mean, and then they'll keep coming back to you. I swear to God, I tell people that all the time.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Oh, big time. So we got the people, they're coming in the door. Some people aren't because they're saying they can't find enough candidates. What do you see? I mean, I see on my end that everybody's using LinkedIn. I'm going to be a firm believer. LinkedIn's great, but there's so many other avenues. I mean, I love Twitter, Instagram. I think you have to use them all. Are you seeing that?
I don't disagree. There's not just one, but I think we go back to like these conversations, the human element. There are so many times that I see when I worked with offices all over the United States, they were like, well, we don't do reference checks because we don't have time. Well, that's great. But unfortunately, those reference checks are with hiring authorities in the same types of businesses that you should be talking to. They have needs. So you're missing that part. So do you have a process around that to say, hey, you need to reach out to these people. You need to follow back up with these people. A lot of times people don't ask for referrals. And I hate to say like this is such a basic part of our business, but we're so worried about the texts and the things that come across our phone while we're in through the day. And we forget to do the basic things that have really ran this business and this industry for years upon years.
Referrals, number one thing. For me, I'll be honest with you, 80% of mine is referrals. And guess what? I give no referral money out. It's the experience of working with me. As soon as before they even leave, do you have a friend? Give me their number. I think the biggest thing is, I'll tell my friends, no, give me their number. I'll call them while you're right here at the desk. I think that's that proactive part that if you're a recruiter like this, you can, I mean, this is sky's the limit. If you're a good recruiter and proactive, you can crush it right now.
And honestly, don't forget about those people. Then you can use that automation in your system. If you have the best system, you can then say, all right, well, let me put them on a touch plan. So they get an email or they get a text message from me. So they don't forget about me. So you're always top of mind and you're the person they come to when they're ready, if they're not ready right now.
You're so right. And then that leads right into the onboarding, which we can talk about with Crelate and everything like that. Onboarding, Courtney, is so important. I mean, people don't want links anymore and all this stuff. We have to go through so many passwords and hoops and all that. They just quit. Mm-hmm. So what do you see on your end and with your company about the onboarding that's being successful?
We have a few things that are in play that I really love, even on the client and the candidate side, because honestly, clients don't want to have to go through all those hoops either. Like if they're like, oh, we're submitting candidates to you, go to this thing and type in this password. You don't have time for that. Your clients don't have time for that. So anytime that you can mitigate that extra click, you still are able to do things in your system where you're tracking, you have the metrics, the dates, you have all the analytics, but you're working with those people. It's going to make your data so much better. Your forecasting is going to be more on point. And who doesn't want that running a business? That you feel that pain point daily. You want to know where you're going to be in 4 weeks, 8 weeks going forward, but it has to be all in the same place. We're to the point that so many of us get to, we work outside the system. We do whatever. And there's a lot of times now, and even with my conversation with Lauren Jones on our podcast recently, really confirmed some things that we're seeing, really focused on the integration from the front office to the back office, right? We're doing this work on the front end, but is it relating to the back end, saving our people time? And recruiters and staffing firms are really tired of being the glue that holds the technology together. So it really has to be beyond the same brand. Yeah, it's the same brand, but are they talking in the way you need it to talk? And I think that's really what hits home for us as a software to be able to help those people like your offices excel. And that's where we focus.
Exactly. And I think it's internal too. The recruiters, I think the owners of companies need to talk to the recruiters. They're the front line. They're like the line women, line men in football or anything like that. They are your front line. And if they don't know how to use the system, like you just said earlier, to the max, they're defeating the purpose. You're not going to get your ROI on your technology.
No, and that's what we're here. That's what we're here to know. Are you getting the most out of your job boards? Are you getting the most out of your system? Are your people taking away and time? And we want to make your guys' job easier. That's what we're here to do. in reality at Crelate. So I think that's the thing that I like to see, because frankly, we don't have time for difficult, convoluted, soul-crushing systems. Neither do our candidates or our clients that make our jobs harder. We need simple and easy, and that's really what I love about this place.
I love it. So give us a couple stories before we jump into something else. Let's get a couple stories about what you've seen in the last 3 or 4 months with Crelate and, out there in the system.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 examples because they all kind of fit into current client, someone from the full desk experience, and someone that's not a client. So I have 3. Shocker, I like to talk. We have a customer that's really leaned into Crelate over the past few years and has become a champion on the idea that our software has really allowed them to mold and create their processes to align with their methodologies in a way that they're not compromised. Because oftentimes systems, you go in and it's like, oh, well, I have to name it this, or I have to do it this way. And we pride ourselves on being flexible. So by using our tool in the most effective ways, it's really allowed his organization to scale. And honestly, he's earned the top 100 fastest growing companies in Philadelphia 2 years in a row, just by applying Crelate to their business in a way that really increases that efficiency, effectiveness, measurability, and they're able to scale their business in a way that they didn't think was possible. So I love that. That's one example from one of our customers.
First one.
Second one is really from our full desk experience with the workshop style. You can hear those on podcast platforms as well. But again, we have that live event series that you can come and you can ask questions. And remember, you don't have to be a customer to attend these. Selfish, shameless plug.
Always free.
But we recently did a live event on redeployment. It actually dropped today. But in that live event, we focused on all things redeployment, what you're doing today or not doing today, what you could be doing better, how to set up your foundational processes in your organization, and really the best redeployment strategies. So we did this downloadable checklist, and one of the attendees took that list. They had a 2-hour business conversation with one of their executives to see how they could adapt this business that they have to gain additional or amplified revenue within their organization. And frankly, that's really what gets me jazzed. I'm excited to hear those types of conversations, that our workshops are having that type of impact to be able to help organizations across our industry gain more money, have different conversations. And that's what it's truly about. And I think my last example is someone who's not a customer, someone that's in my personal network, had a call with in the past month, and there's some frustration with their current ATS because frankly, they had to go back to using an Excel spreadsheet to track metrics.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's
2010, here we are.
Exactly. And honestly, their insight, their system wasn't giving that insight that they needed, because they call things a certain way. They want to track things and they don't want the interpretation to say, well, this means this and this means this. And we had a call and we had a discussion, and they were able to see their data just by our built-in reports. That really got me excited, because we can look at them and confidently say that we can replicate the way you need to see your data, the way you need to forecast your business, and you can ditch the spreadsheets that you have in hand. So again, we're here to make life easier. Those are just some things that are top of mind that literally have happened in the past 3 weeks alone. There's so many exciting things.
Love it. I mean, and I love what you guys do, because you guys are customer service oriented big time. And I love that, because I've worked with ATSs before where, you take a ticket, take a number, and then, you never know when they're going to get back to you. Your system's down. I mean, so I won't mention any names, but you know what? Everybody has their good ones and their bad ones. Yeah. But I think something that we all have to understand as recruiters and everything else is what the job seekers want. And Courtney, I went through a couple of things. I mean, the first one is, they want income, but they want benefits too. I mean, health benefits are very important now, especially in professional jobs. I mean, and then work-life balance. We all talk about the 4-day work week. I know in recruiting right now with a couple of firms I'm working with, we might do like a 4.5 where you have Fridays off. Yeah. The 5 days a week in the office is a burnout. It's not going to happen anymore. What do you think on your end?
I've been remote before remote was cool. I have been remote for about 10 years. So I see that. I have little ones, just like anybody else. And I think COVID probably, I hate to say the C word, COVID probably put different perspective on businesses across the entire nation. People are now aware that they can do their business and they can track things. And even in our business, again, if you have the right system, you're able to manage that business not being in the office 5 days a week. And you really, just like you're focusing on your motivators of your candidates, what do they need? What do they want? You have to do that same thing internally and have that realization.
Yes.
How can I make my people happy? Same thing externally. Take the time to understand those motivators. Do they need a challenge? Is it their location? Is it strictly money? Because if it's money, they're going to leave your job for the next one that pays more. Is it culture? Is it flexible workforce? Like we talk about being remote. Some people care about that. Some people don't, but you will never know until you have that conversation.
100%. And I think the number one thing is you got to praise them on everything. And if you're having a down, everybody has a downside. And staffing, we're like a roller coaster, up and down. We win one game, lose two. Yep. But I think you have to praise them on that one win and keep praising. And I don't think internal staff, from what I understand, like the leaders, they need to get their hands dirty too. I'm going to be frank. Get out there and recruit a little bit, and get out there and see what's happening, because it's nice to sit in a boardroom and say, hey, this is what's going on. You're not recruiting your great candidates. But I see it all the time. The recruiters doing everything they got to, they just need that little boost. And that could be praising or something else that they need in the office. And I always tell recruiters all the time, you know what? Ask your owners for what you need. Don't be scared.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love, like, if you're in an office, that open floor concept, or you know what, I would love whenever you have like your certain systems, you have, if you have a recorded conversation, or at least your side, coach me, tell me what I don't know.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love when the owners are in the office. That was my favorite thing, because, we all do improv in the mornings to say, what would you say to this resistance? Right. But it's different when you actually hear the person leading your organization face the same kind of things. What are they saying? What can I take from them and their experience and use for my own to accelerate my growth as a newbie, as a rookie coming in? So I love that kind of stuff. That gets me nerdy. That is training and development 9 times out of 10. And it gets me excited.
It is. And you know what? Positive energy. If I'm in the office and I'm still doing business development, I'm closing a deal with collaboration, I'm doing a dance, I'm having fun, everybody's fist pumping me. That's the culture that we need now. And I tell everybody this, and this is not because of what I do, Courtney, but if you walk in my office, it's open concept. It's got a Pac-Man machine. It's got a popcorn machine. It's got loud music, Pitbull playing or Kenny Chesney. I mean, it's loud. When you walk in, it's that experience. There's no cubicle. You're not taking a test like a driver's test. We're not sitting you down right and drug testing right off the bat. We want you to come in, feel loved, and then go from there. And I tell everybody, this is the fact. If you go to Walmart, why do you hear music? You don't hear the 80s music just for fun. It's because you want to buy more. You want to stay longer. It's the same thing with our staffing offices. You got to do the same thing.
And you and I are used to talking jobs every day, but the people that are coming into our office, whatever they're coming in for, it's not something that they do every day. And believe it or not, they're probably nervous. They don't know what to say.
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
You're taking their guard down the minute they walk in your office. You're setting up that environment in the right way. So, it's something that we take for granted because we're in this day in and day out. But you're right. Think of the candidate. Think of what they're experiencing, and have the types of conversations you would want to have if you were looking for a job.
Exactly. And that's what it all comes down to, the process. That's that part that I think sometimes we miss, because I'm going to be a firm person on this, and I'm going to probably get trouble with this. KPIs, I can't stand them, Courtney. I can't stand when there's metrics, 100 phone calls a day. You need to get 30 people out a week or 2 weeks. Guess what? You're not thinking about that person anymore. You're just thinking about a number to get your goal.
And you need to do, it's not about, I love, because I worked with this all across the nation, but it was like, yeah, you have those KPIs, but what if you could make less phone calls and make it better? Because you're too busy churning out, yep, I got to get a number. But what if you could make less phone calls because you said something different? You acted different. You were a differentiator in how you treated them. But in reality, all leaders need to see that forecasting for their business to understand. But take that off the table. Coach me to how I can become better, because I'm not getting that number I need to get, but why am I not getting it? Is it because of what I'm saying? Is it because of what I'm sending? Is it because I can't write an email very well? It could be many different things, but that's where it comes down to us as leaders in this industry to be able to drive them in the right way, or even to have your system set up the right way to, hey, this is the email template that I want sent. And it's in your words because you know what they're sending.
Exactly. And I think email templates now, you got to have some videos in there. You got to have, I mean, we're all hyper deficit now. So basically at the end of the day, we don't read. So you got to have captions. I mean, like I said, video is king in social media. But the thing is though, Courtney, when you get on the phone, you got to bring that energy every time. I feel like I'm at a concert every time. I'm singing a song like Kenny Chesney. I'm entertaining that person on the phone. 100%, because they can hear your voice if you're desperate or you're upset, or you're actually, I've seen recruiters text while they're on the phone to a candidate.
Well,
I mean,
what's the old school thing? Didn't like back in the days of the Rolodex, put a mirror in front of you when you're talking. If you're not smiling, and honestly, you as well as I am on video all day, so I know if I'm not smiling, whether I've had a crap day or not, I have to smile, because then I know it brings excitement. You should be doing the same thing when you're talking to your candidates. Put a mirror in front of you. See what you're doing.
Exactly. And so then the back office, like, what do you think on the back office? Because I know everybody does what we talked about just now, but there's that, follow up, you get them placed. Where's the next step that you guys can help out with?
That's actually, there's some exciting things coming for us.
Here we go. Sneak preview. Can we say?
Well, I can talk a little bit about this. So as we look into our 2023 roadmap, the biggest thing that we focus is on, anybody can use it, any type of business. But whenever we focus on that back office, we're really going to be focused on offering more functionality, literally from that rec to check. We support all types of businesses, whether you're temp to executive search. We're going to be amplifying on the idea, like I said, your front office has to talk to your back office and what's happening on your invoices. So we're going to increase our already robust back office offerings. We're going to be focusing on enhancing those APIs. Yeah, we have great data management through our platform, but understanding customers, they have a robust tech stack. We already talked about that. We want to make sure that all of those systems and tools are optimized in that single source of truth. So you're not going to 15 different places to make sure your data is in the right place and you're getting the right things. So I think that's important. And we're still going to be focused on automations, because that's frankly where our industry is going, but in a way that we're not losing that human touch. So in that system that you use day in and day out, you're never going to have to leave, because it's going to decrease your time to fill. And let's face it, this industry is a speed game. And that's what we are here to focus on, to make your jobs easier, to get the data you need, to invoice quicker. Again, rec to check, we got you covered.
You know what? I love what you said there. You said the human connection once again. Like, even though you sell technology, so many companies just talk about tech. They forget about the human side. And I love how you said you got to use the combo of both. That's amazing stuff coming down the line, man. You guys are like really rocking it out. Is there anything else before we rock and roll here? I mean, we can hit a million things here. This is like speed right now. So is there anything else you want to touch base on that you guys are going to do? I know you're going to be in Miami. I'm so excited for SIA. Maybe I'll get some sun on my skin.
I'm ready for some sunny weather and some nice weather. So we're going to be at Staffing or SIA Executive Forum. I almost said Staffing World. I'm already jumping to October.
Whoa.
But we're at booth 129. So come see us. There's going to be quite a few people. I'm looking to talk to leaders in the staffing industry, talk about staffing, talk about topics of future podcasts, looking for potential new guests for our Industry Spotlight series. But again, can't wait to see you all and have some sunny weather.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. And let me guess, they can schedule some time with you. I think next week there's going to be an app coming out on SIA, so they can schedule some time one-on-one with Courtney and the team.
Absolutely.
There to go through some great stuff.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. We're going to be fist pumping and drinking land sharks. That's what it's all about. But
love it.
No, thank you for coming on, Courtney. I'm just going to sum it up like this. You know what? We went through some stuff real quick here, just a brief teaser for everything. If you guys get a chance, check out Crelate. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. No pressure. They just want you to come out aboard and try to help you. And if it's a solution for you, that's great. If not, they're going to help you out as much as they can on their end. And I think that's what it's all about, sharing and caring.
If not, listen to our podcast in the meantime. Have fun.
That's right. And where can I see your podcast at? Is it on YouTube yet?
It's not on YouTube. It will be. See certain pieces are, but any platform, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, you can find it on any. It's called the Full Desk Experience.
That's right. And they haven't had the shark on yet, so look out. They haven't got the full desk yet.
Stay tuned.
Hey guys, that's a wrap. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Courtney.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.